Welcome back everyone to the ultimate guide to Blender 3D rigging and animation, and this is where we left it off. Now let's come back to modeling, let it load up, not modeling, sorry, layout, so we have our timeline down there. And then what we'll do first of all, I'm going to hide this roof out of the way so I can actually get to my monkey. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to base my root bone around this here. So first of all, I'm going to come in, grab this in edge select. You can press 1, by the way, on your actual keyboard, or 2 and 3 to actually do this. You don't have to actually come up here and actually do that. What I'm going to do then is press Shift-S, cursor to selected, and then I'm going to press Tab, and then I'm going to press Control-A, all transforms, right-click, so origin to geometry, and now what we're going to do is I'm going to bring in a bone. I'm going to press dot button as well, just to zoom in so I can actually move around here and see exactly what I'm doing. So what I'll do is I'll bring in a root bone first, so Shift-A, let's bring in an armature, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn this around, so RX, and 90, I'm going to make it bigger, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to put this down on the ground, like so. Now let's press Tab and bring in our next bone, so Shift-A. This will be the bone that actually controls this actual pot here going up and down. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to spin this round. So I'm going to grab it, R, and messed up there a little bit. So grab it, and then R, X, 90, and then R, Z, 180. Let's spin it so it's going around here. S, and what I'll do is I'll put it more in line with it, like so. Now let's bring in another bone. I think first of all, before we do that, what we should do is put our monkey actually on the actual slab here. So I'm going to press Tab, go to my monkey, and I'm going to bring him to there. So I'm going to grab him all in edge select. So L, make sure you grab his eyes. I'm going to press Shift S, selection to cursor, keep offset, and then I'm just going to pull him up just so he's on the top where I actually want him. I'm going to also put him more central, like so, and I think that looks good there. Now I'll grab my sandbag as well. Make sure you've grabbed it all, and then again, Shift S, cursor to selected. That's not the right one, so let's go back. Shift S, cursor to selected. Grab your sandbag, L, Shift S, selection to cursor, and then let's bring it up, put it into place, like so. All right, so now let's bring in another couple of bones. So I'm going to press Shift A once I've grabbed my bone. So now grab my bones, Shift A, bring in one bone. So L, and S. Let's make this one a little bit smaller. And now because we're only moving our bones up and down, we can actually weight them, we need to weight them basically from the bone. In other words, I don't really want them to be, I still want them to be central is what I'm saying. So I want them to be central, but I can actually rotate them around. So what I'll do is I'll press RX 90, and then what I'll do is I'll make it smaller and then just bring it up, because this one I'll say is for my monkey. And then what I'll do is I'll press Shift D instead of Shift A and just bring it down then. And that then can be for my sandbag. So you can see I've got two bones that I've actually can grab hold of whenever I need them. All right, so now what we can do is we can actually grab all three of these bones, grab my root bone, press Control P, and then keep offset. And now we can actually go in and name them. So I'll come to this bone first, then I'll press F2. And of course, this one will be, as always, the root bone. So root bone, like so. This one will be the slab bone, so F2, stone slab we'll call it. So stone, slab, bone. And then we've got the sandbag bone, so F2, like so, and sandbag bone. And then finally this one, so F2, and we'll call this monkey idle bone. And what we'll also do then is come over to the right hand side and we'll call this idle rig. Like so. All right, everything's done. Now all we need to do is put them together. So I'll grab my monkey and my slab. I'll grab my bones. I'll press Control P, and with empty groups. Now what we'll do is we'll come in and actually attach some weighting to these. So the first one I'll come to is my slab. I'm going to press Tab. I'm going to make sure that I've grabbed it all in edge select. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to come now to my stone slab. I'm going to click Assign. Then I'll come to my bag. So this one here, sandbag, click Assign. And then finally I'll come to my monkey, making sure I grab his eyes again. So don't forget about his eyes. Monkey idle, click Assign. And then finally we'll come to my root bone. And basically I'm going to grab everything and then I'll just click Remove. Now, let's give this a try first of all before we do anything. So come to our bones, come to pose mode, Let's grab this one. This should just be the slab, which it is. The root bone should move everything, which it does. We've got the sandbag, and then finally we've got the monkey. All right, so now we're ready to rock and roll. Now, again, we can see that we've got we've got keyframes on here. We don't want them. I'm going to grab everything, come down, press delete just to get rid of those. Now let's come to frame 1. Now, on frame 1, we want our actual idle to be here. So this is this here. So this one, we're going to grab this one. I'm going to press I, location, rotation, scale. Now it's over 300 and we need to swap it over twice. So let's come in, and what we'll do is we'll start bringing it down, let's say around frame 60. So on frame 60, I'm going to have it on I, location, rotation, scale. And then what I'm going to do now on frame, let's say 80, we're going to bring it down. So if I bring this down to, let's say here, like so, I'm going to press I, location, rotation, scale. Now let's see how fast that actually is. So if I press spacebar, you'll see it stays there and it comes down, which is really nice. So now we know we can go on frame, let's say frame 100. So it's another 20 frames. I can grab this one then, because I know that's the top one. Press Shift D, bring it over, frame 100. And now what I can do is I can come back now, press the space bar, and let's see how that's going to work. So down and then up. Now you can see there's too much of a gap there in coming up, and I don't really want that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab this, I'm going to press G and put it on frame 120. And then I'm going to grab this one, I'm going to press Shift D and put that on frame 100, just to make it stay down there a little bit. So now you can see, if I grab this, it's going to go down. Going to stay there a bit before moving up. That is what I actually want. Now we want this to come down, come up with the sand, and then come down and up again. So that's basically what I want to do. I want it to keep swapping over. So let's do that now. I'm going to grab all of this, so A, and then what we're going to do is Shift D and bring it over to frame 300. So you can see the first one. So if I bring it just to here, as you can see now that we've got a gap of 40. You can see on here we've got a gap of 40. That is exactly what we want. Apart from the first one is going to be obviously a little bit long. I'm just going to move that up to frame 300. Now let's see if that actually works. So it's going to be monkey. It goes down, swaps with the sandbag, comes up. Sandbag's there now, and then it's going to stay there. And finally it's going to go down. Swap to the monkey, come up. Monkey's going to sit there, and there you go. That's exactly what we want. Now, the monkey needs to go down with this. So let's come now to the actual monkey. I'm going to grab my monkey. I'm going to press I, location, rotation, scale. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to go now back to this one. And I can see on this one, this is at frame 60 before it starts doing anything. So I'm going to grab my monkey. And at frame 60, we're going to press I, location, rotation, scale. And then what we're going to do is we're going to go to 80 now. And that is when it's at the most bottom point. So I'm going to grab my monkey. I'm going to pull him down into here. Now, if you're struggling, you can actually come in, put it on object mode, and hide this out of the way. So just hide that out of the way, and then you can have a much better idea if that's actually sat on there. Now come back to your monkey. So go into pose mode, then back to monkey, bring him down, so he's sat on there like so. So now if you can see it's already keyed that in. So now if I come down, so it's going to go down, monkey drops down with it perfectly. Now we've got a little bit of time now to swap those over. So you can see that until frame, I think, let's have a look, frame 100. So we need him to swap now with the bag. So what I'm going to do is monkey bone here. I'm going to grab this monkey bone. And now I'm going to press, so from here to here is where we need to shrink him. So I'm going to say at this one here, I'm going to keep him this size. So he should be, if I press I, location, rotation, scale. And now by 85, I want him shrank down. So S0, shrank down, like so. So now you can see that he comes down, and he shrinks, disappears. Now what I want to do is swap the sandbag over now to this one. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to do the same thing with the sandbag, apart from the sandbag wants to not be starting here, wants to be starting down at the bottom. So when we come here, so the sandbag for now wants to be invisible. So if I grab my sandbag, I'm going to press S and 0 like so. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to now come to frame, or is it 80? So 60, it starts going down. So again, we're going to Still got my sandbag clicked on. I'm going to press I, location, rotation, scale. And now what I want to do is I want to bring my sandbag down to here. So I'm going to bring my sandbag down. Now at the moment, of course, we can't see where the sandbag is. So we need to actually make it to be the right scale again. So if I press Alt S, we can actually bring it back and that will make the scale back. So now I can just bring it down to where the monkey is. I can then press S and 0, and then I can press I, location, rotation, scale. Now, as my monkey comes over, I want my sandbag to appear. So as I go up here, so from 85 here, now I want my sandbag to reappear. So Alt S, sandbag appears, I, location, rotation, scale. The other thing is, as you can see, it only pops up over here. And now as this goes up, we want it on to stay there. So I, location, rotation, scale. Let's come up then to 120. And then now we'll lift our sandbag up. So bring our sandbag up where I want it to sit. And then I, location, rotation, scale. Now let's see what actually happens there. So if I press spacebar, monkey's there, goes down, shrinks over, brings it up, and there we go. Perfect. So now what we can do now is basically we can move this over to the next part and basically duplicate that, and we should have this sandbag and this idol swapping over just like on the film. All right, everyone, so I hope you enjoyed that, and I'll see you on the next one. Thanks a lot. Bye-bye.